Yeah, of
Super excited to
course.
get
Thank
to
you
know
for
you
having me.
better. Yeah, of course. Do you just want to go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Cameron Excell. I'm the owner of Excell FitLife and Team Excell here in the Salt Lake Valley in Utah. Um, I've been in the fitness industry for just about 8 years now. Actually, it's more like 10 years. I've been a coach for about 8 years. Um, and yeah, I've lived in Utah my entire life. Got into fitness after I got back from serving an LDS mission. Um, and it's just kind of steamrolled from there and became like overtook my life and became my career at a certain point. And it's kind of evolved out of just wanting to help people and all that. And like I'm sure we'll get into my story and everything because I'm kind of like dancing around it a little bit right now. But yeah, I work as a coach. I do online, in-person personal training, help people who are just lifestyle, who just want to improve blood work, get healthy, get in shape, see their abs for the first time. But then I also work with bodybuilders who want to build like the massive amount of muscles, get all greased and tanned up and put on stage. And you know, I'm
Hmm.
everywhere in between there. And yeah, just love working with people and just helping people to see their potential and honestly just find that thing that makes them feel confident in themselves.
I love that. I think that's awesome. So okay, where in Utah did you grow up?
So I grew up in the Salt Lake Valley, like my entire life.
Okay.
Like we just bounced around a little bit, but the majority was in South Jordan and West Jordan.
Okay.
But I've lived a few years on the east side and all that, and then when I moved out from my family, I moved up to Kaysville, which is north of Salt Lake by like 30, 40 minutes. Lived there for about a year and then moved back down to the Salt Lake Valley and have kind of just bounced around here and currently reside in West Jordan, Utah.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome. So you really got into fitness, you said, after your mission, right?
Mhm.
Or were you into like sports and things like that before?
So yeah, so I was into sports and everything before. Yeah, so going into that. So yeah, so I was a big baseball player. I love baseball. I
Okay.
wanted to do my thing, like just like every kid who plays a sport, they're just like, I'm gonna play in the MLB. I'm gonna be a major league pitcher. Um, got to high school that so it's a little bit of like I probably wasn't good enough, but I also like to point out that it's like, well, I showed up to tryouts and the coach knew everybody's name except me. I was just like, do y'all live in the same neighborhood or something? And then that was kind of the introduction to like, politics are a real thing.
Hmm.
So I was never actually able to make my high school team. And after my junior year, I remember asking the coach, like, is there anything that I can do to possibly play for you? Or like, is there anything I can do to like make the team? And he literally just told me, he's like, there's literally nothing that you can ever do to play for me. So that broke my heart, broke my dream.
Oh my
I remember
gosh.
I cried. I definitely cried on the way home, and I think I cried the rest of the day. Felt very lost. So I went and like played City League that year. And then the next year, I was just kind of like, I think I need to be done with baseball and kind of find something different. Got in a little bit into music, learned how to play guitar because they had a guitar class at high school.
Cool.
The last half of the year, I took a weight training class. No, actually, it was the
Okay.
first part of the year. I took weight training and guitar. Loved the weight training, so I ended up dropping woodworking for the second half of the year and retook weight training again. And
Okay.
that's kind of where I got started with weights and barbells and dumbbells was in my senior year of high school. And then I just kind of kept it up. Left on my mission, came back, and like the day that I got back, I got a gym membership. Back when we had Gold's gyms here, um,
Yeah.
and then started going about 6 days a week, and haven't really
Dang.
stopped since I got back in 2013.
That's amazing. Where did you serve your mission?
I served in Anaheim, California, actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so I served in the Disneyland mission, and like two of my apartments were literally like within a mile of Disneyland, so we could hear the fireworks going off every night.
That's fun, but you couldn't go.
No, not on the mission. Not on the mission. It
Yeah.
wasn't fair to just because of how expensive it wasn't fair to the elders that came from other countries or from different
Yeah, that's
circumstances where they
fair.
couldn't afford to go. Not to say
That's
that my
fair.
family was like super rich and I could afford to go or anything either, but that was the mission rule. It's just, it's not fair, so nobody gets to go.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Did you work out while you're on the mission?
I tried to. So with the mission, they have like a very regimented schedule. They set aside 30 minutes really early in the morning at like 6:30 a.m. for you to wake up and like do some exercise. But they don't allow you to go to the gym. You don't have gym access. It's kind of like just like whatever you can do in your apartment. So like
Hmm.
push-ups, chair dips, body weight exercises. That was the first time that I ever did P90X was on my mission, and I,
Okay. It's
I
a good
remember
workout.
it's a pretty good workout. It's a pretty good workout. I will say though that I don't think that you'll actually get as muscular as the models that they use just doing P90X,
Sure.
but it's a
Yeah.
great way to get active and to get in shape for the first time. But it doesn't help that I was doing a Spanish speaking mission. So I was with the
Okay.
Latino community a lot, and they eat a lot, and a lot of their food is not geared towards health. So I stayed. So when I left on my mission, I was 175 pounds, and when I came back, I was still 175 pounds. But what I looked like when I left versus what I came home looking like, completely different. Lost a lot of muscle, gained a lot of
That's so funny.
you
Okay,
can see
okay.
clearly that I have like a jawline and a neck. I didn't have that when I came home. It was just kind of like
That's
very
so
thick.
funny. That's so funny. Okay, that's awesome. So you did P90X, you came home, you signed up for a gym. When you signed up, when you got right back, did you were going to get to where you are now? Like, was this in the cards or like, how did you get from there to here?
Yeah. So no, this was definitely not in the cards. Bodybuilding and being a coach and nutritionist and all that. That was definitely nowhere near my radar. Like I had like almost no knowledge other than like kind of like some workouts that we had learned in high school and all that. And then I delved into YouTube and started following some fitness stuff from YouTube. But originally, my first goal was to so this go this goes back. So my first companion on my mission, he was also from Utah. He's from Sandy. He was a little bit more on like the bodybuilding side, pretty built dude, but he always talked about how many girls he made out with. And
Of
and at the
course.
time, I was extremely awkward. Didn't really have a lot of luck with the ladies. And I had actually never had my first kiss when I had left on my mission. So like my goal was the way that the math works is like if I get muscles, girls will like me, and then I can have kids, get a girlfriend, and get married.
That's
So
awesome.
that was the whole reason that I was like, okay, I got to work out, I got to figure this out. I definitely was missing the nutrition part for a good 2 years after I got back because I just kind of followed something that my dad had said. It was just like, just eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of food, and lift heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Um, that and all that kind of really happened from that is like I don't think I was eating enough protein. I was overeating on like the fats and the carbs. I gained weight, but it wasn't great weight. I like lost the mission fluff, but then like the first time I actually tried to bulk, I just did it wrong. I was just eating a lot of what I thought was high protein stuff. It turns out that Del Taco is definitely a cheat meal. It is not like a place to get a lot of protein.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
So the first time I bulked, I got up to like 200 pounds, but like no abs. I felt like my arms were getting bigger. I was just getting softer everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this wrong. I got to figure this out. But it was around that time. So this is where like the nerdy part of me comes in. I went and saw Captain America: The Winter Soldier and saw what Chris Evans looked like, and I was like, that that's what I want to look like. Next thing I do, pull out my phone and like, what does Chris Evans eat and how does he work out? And then I literally
There
followed
you
that for the next
go.
6 months, and it worked. Like I'm sure that's not what he ate every single day, but the Men's Health article that I found with between like the chicken, the eggs, the oatmeal, like everything they ate, I tried to match that as much as possible. But that was my first introduction to like, oh, hey, this nutrition thing is like a big thing because now I'm starting to get results. I'm starting to see muscles. I feel like my arms are finally getting bigger. I'm not getting fat. Like my stomach isn't like getting bigger at the same time too. So there's something to
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And then it was around that time that I got introduced to If It Fits Your Macros.
Mhm.
MyFitnessPal, started really tracking my stuff, went into like my first cut and was able to actually get down to about, I think I was at that time bulked up, came down, was able to get about to like 185 with abs for the first time in my life. And I was like, this is cool. This is awesome. And it was around that time that one of my friends actually found me at the gym and asked me what show I'm getting ready for. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, what show? And he's like, bodybuilding show. And I'm like, oh no, I don't do that. Like, I'm not going to wear a Speedo on stage. What the heck? That's weird. Um, so that was the first time that somebody mentioned like bodybuilding and me in like the same sentence. So it kind of like planted a seed. But then the next year, just coincidentally, me and my family, we were in Vegas visiting my cousins that live down there, and they hold the Mr. Olympia competition there. We were there on the exact same weekend. So me and my cousin, we didn't have anything to do on Saturday, so we went to the Mr. Olympia Expo, and that's where I was introduced to the other divisions. I saw men's physique for the first time where they wear the board shorts, and I was like, okay, I don't want to wear the Speedo, but I could do that, and I actually like the way that they look. And they're not too big, they look good, and like I feel like that's still like an attractive look. So I made the goal for New Year's. 3 months later, after that, they're like, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show before the end of the year. So halfway through the year, I ended up hiring my first coach in October of that year, which was 2016. I did my first competition here in Utah, and then a month later, I went up to Idaho and did my second competition. And then just about every year after that, I've done at least one competition. But I think I'm going on like 15 or 16 now. I think the next one is 16.
When is your next one?
My next one is July 27th. It's USA's. It's actually in Anaheim, California, and it's to
Okay.
compete for a pro card and to hopefully earn my IFBB pro status.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, I hope you get, yeah, I hope you get your pro card.
Thank
That's
you.
so
I'm
exciting.
doing everything I can. So you got to manifest
Yeah,
that, make it reality.
you're gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
Mhm.
So I'm curious. Okay, do you coach full time? Is that your full time
Yeah,
job?
yeah. So I'm full time. So I'm actually at my office here. I rent an office space at Butler Pro Gym. So I do the
Oh, nice.
majority. Yeah, I do the majority of my training and coaching here. I'm in the process actually of um, getting on at another gym that's on the south end of the valley. It's called Origin Fitness Syndicate, where I'll be
I
doing.
just went there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was
I
out of
met
town.
your client.
Yeah, you met
Yes,
Riley.
yes,
I sent her there because I was like,
yes.
shoot, I'm out of town, but let's see if I can get somebody who could benefit from this. But yeah, yeah. So I sent her there, but I was able to go work out there yesterday. And I'm excited for the grand opening and everything. And what I'm hoping to do is have that as like a second training location. Probably won't have an office there just because the office spaces are already full, but we'll be
Mhm.
able to like train clients there, meet there, and kind of just like open up and be able to branch out and reach a new market and help people also in like Utah Valley in the South End. Because I know it can be kind of hard driving from the south end of the valley all the way up to the north end of the valley, especially during rush
Mhm.
hour. Like I have a couple of really
Mhm.
good clients that are willing to do it, but I'm just like, it'd probably be easier if I had a location a couple days a week where I can meet you, where it's like you only have to drive 10 minutes instead of like fight traffic for 50 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, that's exciting. What did you think of the new gym?
Oh, man, it's so clean, it's so professional. Like I love it. I love the equipment that they have there. Like, it was definitely worth the wait trying to get that stuff over from the UK.
Yeah.
But everything, like I just had a really great workout there. The dumbbells threw me for a loop though, because when I first grabbed them, like the weights actually spin. So
Oh.
it was interesting using the dumbbells there, but I loved how clean, how professional, how everything matched. You can tell that the owners really care about the gym, really care about um, honestly the appearance, the comfortability, and the quality of everything that's there. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it to open up to the public and to be able to start training some people there and be there a lot more often.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have the equipment set up when I was there, but I did win a free day pass and I cannot wait to try
Mhm.
it. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, it's
That's
it's
awesome.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Opens this Saturday. If this is posted June 1st.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sweet. Well, hopefully, yeah, if I can get this together, I'll post it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Okay, awesome. So I'm curious, the last, 10 years, what has been the biggest challenge for you?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like you have to kind of like break it into like personal challenge, relationship challenge, business challenge. It could really be split up like into like multiple different areas, and I could probably come up with a couple of different ones. But if I was to say overarching, like biggest challenge, so the one that comes to mind, that I'll kind of just run with this one, since it's on my mind. Defeating my internalized scarcity mindset. So one thing, just kind of like growing up and everything, is like my parents got divorced when I was 13. I was raised by a single mom at that point, and there was a lot of times where we were living paycheck to paycheck, and where it was like, we're out of food. It's Monday, but we got to wait till Friday before we can go grocery shopping. And just as I've grown up, that I didn't realize it until, focusing on it in therapy and kind of focusing on it with my therapist, that I kind of internalized that. And I have a very deep rooted fear of living paycheck to paycheck, or being, quote unquote, being poor, and feeling like I don't have enough, and that like if things happen, I won't be able to survive it, or say my wife gets sick, that we will get, buried under bills and never be able to recover, or that one of our dogs will get sick and that we won't be able to afford it, and there was a surgery that they could have had, but we can't give it to them because we just can't do it. And just like that scarcity mindset, and just being afraid all the time, and having that just kind of leak into every aspect of life. And a lot of people don't realize this, but when you have that scarcity mindset, it truly does bleed into everything, and it kind of taints everything, especially if you're a business owner and you kind of rely on sales. Is when you have consults with people, when you're talking to people and you're in that scarcity mindset, people will pick up on that, and you come off desperate, and it kind of scares people away from you, because one of two things either happens: is either you're like way too forceful and you just scare people away because you're just coming on way too strong, because you're scared and you're really trying to get that sale, you're really trying to secure that next level, or you end up undercutting yourself and underselling your stuff, and then next thing you know, you've got 50 clients that are all demanding your time and attention, and they're extremely, it's extremely time consuming, but you're not getting compensated, and you haven't actually moved forward in life. You're still making the same amount of money, or less than what you should be, but you're working
Yeah.
nonstop, and then it starts to
Mhm.
destroy kind of other areas of your life, and then you don't have time to be home, you don't have time to focus on your relationship, then your relationship starts to go south. So there's a lot of ways, but I'd say that probably the biggest challenge, in conclusion, is scarcity mindset.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. That makes complete sense. How have you been able to work through it? Like, I know you said you went through therapy, but
Yeah.
just how have you been able to
Oh,
navigate it with everything you're doing?
well, I love that you think that I've been able to work through it, but I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. It's an active thing, because it's like, I'll have good days, I'll have good months where everything's smooth, but um, occasionally it's like we hit a really expensive month or something, um, whether it's just like a lot of bills piling up from like us visiting family, flights to go to different parts of the country to go be with competitors during their competitions,
Hmm.
and just all of that. Just like a lot of times when like a big kind of like credit card bill hits, I'll have that panic of just like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of money. Like that was more than I was expecting. We're not doing okay. I've got to do more. I've got to work harder. I've got to do this. And then it just gets into that kind of like negative loop. And it's just like you got to break it yourself out of it. You got to sit down. You got to breathe. And like the big thing that I could communicate to anybody or tell anybody is just, you know, okay, a couple of things, but it's like you've survived every single one of your hard days. You're gonna make it through this. You're gonna survive. It's gonna be okay. Just keep breathing, keep doing your best to stay positive. And then the other thing is if you're a business owner, if you've tried an endeavor, even if it fails, even if everything falls apart, you will never be starting over from zero. You will be starting over from experience. And um, like every landmark that you've reached in your business, like your first $1,000 month, your first $5,000 month, your first $10,000 month, your first six-figure year. If you've done it once, you can do it again faster than you did it the first time because you've built the habits, you've built the skills that got you there in the first place. Those don't just go away because of a couple bad days or bad months. So it's like believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing that I will say with scarcity mindset is it's actually rooted in a lack of belief in yourself and your abilities. You've done it already. You can do it again. So believe in yourself.
I love that. I love that so much. And honestly, as a business owner, I'm like, I needed to hear that. It's hard. It's scary. I feel like, I totally understand. It is, it can be very scary, but
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah, 100%. And like I will say, like anxiety is probably like the scariest feeling because it's easy for me to say right now, just like just keep breathing and just keep going. But like when you have an anxiety attack, that's the one thing is it feels like you can't breathe, like you're suffocating, and it's so hard to get through that, especially if you're alone. If you have a good partner, if you have somebody, good friends, good people in your corner, good business partner, somebody that you can talk to that can talk you through it, that's a tool that is indispensable, and hold on to those people. Never
Yeah,
take them for granted.
totally. I love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. Um, I want to know, where are you hoping to go? You're hoping to go pro, get your IFBB pro card.
Mhm.
You're going to go to the Olympia, be the next Mr. Olympia, right?
I don't know about that. I do know that my total end goal is before I'm done with competing, before I retire from the stage, I do want to compete at the Olympia. I'm want to invest. I want to do everything in my power to live up to my full potential, and I just want to see how far that goes. Whether that's just making it to the Olympia and qualifying for the Olympia, or whether that's placing in the top 10, the top five. I don't know. I can't predict that. All that I can say is that I'm going to execute every day to be my best version. And whatever that ends up being, I will live my life with no regrets. And I will be able to die happy and say, I did everything that I possibly could. And I have nothing to regret in my life.
I love that. That's awesome. Good for you. And I feel like everyone needs to take on that mentality. We'd all go so far. We did. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I have one more question for you.
Okay.
If you could build the nut butter of your dreams, what would it be?
Oh, the nut butter of my dreams. That's hard. Okay, so I'm sure everybody who's watching this already knows that you own a Party Pump. And like I will say, like every flavor that I've tried, I'm waiting for a couple of the new flavors that I just barely bought to come in. But out of all of them that I tried, they've been fantastic. So, oh gosh, I'm trying. This is a hard question because I'm such a food person, and like I'm actually like a fat kid at heart. Oh my gosh. Because it's like you've already made that cinnamon bun one because that's always my go-to when everybody asks me because it's like
Oh
when I go to
yeah.
Cheesecake Factory, it's like the cinnamon bun cheesecake. Like I love cinnamon
Yeah,
rolls,
yeah.
anything cinnamon. But let's see if like of my dreams. It's slightly different. It's slightly different, but I would say like a snickerdoodle. Probably a snickerdoodle,
Okay.
cashew butter or nut butter. Either that
Okay.
or like a caramel brownie.
Ooh, a caramel brownie. That sounds good.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can come up with something like that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I love it. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cameron. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording, but just want to thank you and can't wait to see this live.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.